Hi, everybody. This is Dawn Mitchell, and welcome to Dawn of Sports. I don't even know where to begin today. Jim and I are going to break down a lot of things that went on in the horrible Sunday. I know if you want to buy into the collective Minnesota sigh, what happened between the Lynx, what happened with the Vikings, and the fact that there's a short week if you're a Vikings fan to kind of flush it. But we're going to talk about it all coming up.
Yes, we are. This is Dawn of Sports. She's Dawn Mitchell from Fox 9. I'm Jim Souhan from the Star Tribune. Alex Haugen is our producer. This is kind of become our interview and general sports talk show at talknorth.com. You should know by now we have the best sports lineup in town, the best outdoor lineup in town. We keep adding people. Randy Shaver's been fantastic. Mike Grimm. We keep adding great shows. By the way, we might be having our first live John Krasinski show of the season, November 19th at Head Flyer Brewing. Check out John's show on the Timberwolves to get more details than that, or follow us on social media. We'll let you know about that show as it approaches. For today, we're coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services Studios. We want to thank our sponsors, Rudy Luther Toyota, Minnesota Masonic Charities, and Natrium. And Dawn, you said you didn't know where to start. I know exactly where to start. No matter what happens in the sports world, ever from now to the end of time, I don't think we will ever see a post-game championship just got decided rant like the one that Cheryl Reeve put on in New York on Sunday night.
Unbelievable. And, I know it runs the gamut, and I loved your article, by the way, of how it is. I think Cheryl was saying everything that a Lynx fan was screaming at their television about, screaming if they were in New York about. But, she wasn't the only one, because just in game 4, Sandy was screaming about the officiating as well. So, whatever side that you fall on, I know that she just kind of let it all out. And, it's emotional. There's been men who have been coaches who have had their rants. We've played them plenty of times in the history of sports. And you know what? When emotions and big stakes and big games and things like that, and a woman who knows her sport just loses something like that and feels that it was stolen from her, I don't blame her, but it also takes guts to do it too. I don't know if a young rookie coach would be able to do that. Like you would hope so, but I'm sure, I don't know about you, Jim, but I'm sure the fines will reflect it as well.
I'm fascinated to see how Kathy Engelbrecht and the WNBA offices handle this, because let's put this in perspective here. First of all, you are talking about a 4-time champion, the Olympic coach that just won gold, not just a first ballot Hall of Famer, but should have been, they might as well have put her in 10 years ago, Hall of Famer. And Kathy and the WNBA, this was maybe the high point of league history. A great 5-game series. The last 5-game series, because they're going to go to 7 games because they've become so popular. The sport has never been popular. Women's sports have never been more popular, and they play Game 5 at Barclays Center in New York, and it is packed, not with just great fans, but with celebrities. They're all over the place. It was an incredible scene. I was there, obviously. And then to have the story become Cheryl Reeve ripping the officials, the league, all the other teams, it's almost funny, And I mean, I'm sitting there going, Cheryl, you're going to go there now? Oh, you're really going to go there? Or you're going to take a left turn and go there? And let's, start from the Lynx fan perspective. It was a poorly officiated game, and the calls went against the Lynx. No doubt about it. I do not disagree with any of that at all. But the fact that Cheryl went from that typical coach's complaint to, hey, Liberty, why did it take him so long to win a championship? And oh my, and all these teams are circumventing the salary cap and cheating. I mean, she took on the whole world in 20 minutes.
And, I've seen other teams in the past where, and I know that Sherry Hansen, when George Karl, I was in Milwaukee when he was the coach there, sometimes he would wear his emotions on the sleeve, and she would step in saying, that's it for questions. Like sometimes you need a gatekeeper to protect your coach, or whoever, your GM, if they start, hey, you can say your emotions about the officiating, because I'm telling you, even before the game was over, I said, regardless who wins this game, the officiating it has to be addressed. It just has to be addressed. And I said the game is, deserves better. And I didn't mean that particular game. I mean, it happened in that game, but the WNBA game has elevated itself, and women's basketball has elevated itself. The officiating has to elevate itself. However, did I feel like we could get into the details? They did not call the travel. They called it a foul that was fictitious. I'm not going as far as saying that the game was fixed. I'm not saying that. But there are some things that made it a really bad look. In addition to that, you don't have a commissioner wearing the skyline of New York to the game. I'm sorry, you don't wear that outfit. We as media, Jim, we can't wear the opposing or the home team colors. You know how sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I work till midnight or 1. I got to be back in at 7. I'm putting on blue. I'm like, oh, I can't wear blue. I can't wear blue. The Lions are in town. Well, I certainly can't wear purple. We have to be unbiased. You don't have the commissioner of the league wear a whole skyline. You see the Empire State Building, and then the league tweets out the trophy is where it belongs, and then they delete the tweet. There's just so much that has to be unpacked here after this. And in a way, it's really for me, who covers the game, who also played basketball growing up, also who is a fan of the game. It's disappointing just to see. I kind of feel like the PWHL, like, yeah, all right, Minnesota wins. And then 2 days later, they fire the GM, and then you get that feeling in your stomach. That's not the way I wanted to see things go down.
No, and I'll go big picture here. I think that most sports leagues, in most instances, achieve success before they're ready to handle it. The NFL became the most popular game in America, and it was still a mom and pop organization. I mean, when I came to Minnesota in 1990 to cover the Minnesota Vikings, the NFL had already surpassed baseball and become the number one sport in America. It was already on its way to being the monolith that it is now today. And you know what? When the Vikings made the playoffs, they had to blow up a 40-yard golf bubble in their backyard so they could practice inside. They didn't have an indoor practice facility. The Minnesota Vikings, who played in 4 Super Bowls, didn't have an indoor practice facility they could practice in when it got cold. And it gets cold here. They couldn't practice punts or long passes before the NFC Championship game because they didn't have any facilities. It was obvious that the NFL's popularity outpaced the quality of ownership and the quality of management. And that's what you're seeing here. This league exploded this year. Caitlin Clark, great play, Olympics, everything. It all came together. Everything that's been working toward this destination finally arrived this year. And I don't think Kathy Engelbrecht has any idea what she's doing. And they don't have very good officials. It's just The league got popular before they were ready for any of this stuff.
And the play has been outstanding. That's what I mean, just to see how these games are, and just the quality of these athletes, and just the toe to toe and the back and forth, and the involvement. It was a heck of a series that way. That's what I'm saying. It's a shame. And then when you start seeing guys like LeBron James, Damian Lillard, like guys that know the sport, saying some things, it makes you think, okay, they need to get their act together. That's what the WNBA has to do. And now, I think it was yesterday, the Players Association for the WNBA said they're backing out of the CBA. And they even tweeted out a video saying it's business. So now they got a whole nother mess on their hands.
Well, so this,
it's going to get worse before it gets better.
I think, what they did was opt out. They took their opt out, and they have a year to negotiate. And all the players are saying is, hey, we see it. We see how popular the game is. We see the revenues coming in. We see you expanding the playoffs. It's time to act like a grown-up league and pay your players better. I don't know. I have no idea at this moment whether that's going to be incredibly contentious and lead to some kind of work stoppage, or whether it's just going to be the league go. But the league has to understand they are in no position to have a work stoppage. They can't have anything halt this progress right now. So the players really have them, over a barrel right now. They really have to, I mean, the league's got to say, we can't have any interruptions while we're building this great product.
Absolutely. The viewership increased more than 140% before the WNBA finals even started. I mean, that's incredible. That's even before.
Yep.
And then that's even higher ever since it first started, was back in 97. So, and it generated, so Clark played a big part in that, of course, as we know that. But it says one of her games generated incredible 2.5 million viewers alone. So, the semifinals averaged 850,000 eyeballs. So that's double from last season. But you have to have the money also to show for it. So, I mean, I can see where, hey, if they have that option and you want to exercise it and the time is now, you do that. They just got a lot to work on in this offseason.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. The game's in great shape. They just need better officials. Listen, I would have told you before Game 5 or before the final series that the officiating is the officiating just isn't very good in the league. I'll also say this: there's a reason the officiating isn't very good. If they're not paying their players very much money, how much do you think they're paying their officials? It's not a good job. It's a job where you have no home games, where you're getting screamed at every night. And if you're in the WNBA, you're probably not making a ton of money. NBA officials, I think, are on the whole, I think NBA officials are very good at their jobs. They also get paid pretty well. And there are also some of them who are not good. So that's another place. And again, it's all part of the growth. The WNBA needs to find better officials, pay them better, train them better, because it's hard to officiate these games.
Right. I agree. And, as we all know, officiating doesn't have you lose a championship, but it can help you win one. Because I would say, okay, it comes back to some missed shots, easy bunnies missed. We all know that. But when it comes down to that very end and it's a glaring spotlight on it, that's when it can be just a huge issue that it's become.
Yes. I also think, and listen, in quieter times, I've had many conversations with Cheryl. Obviously, Cheryl used to do a podcast on this network with me, and we used to talk a lot, and we'd talk, and when she was talking at the podium on Sunday night, a couple things she's told me in the long ago past popped into my head. One is control what you can control, and the other is it doesn't matter if you foul the other. It doesn't matter if you commit a foul. It matters whether it looks like a foul. And to go to the first, they go 3 for 19 from three. They were the best 3-point shooting team in the WNBA this year, and they were terrible at that on Sunday. And Courtney Williams, who's been not only a great player, but a joy to be around all year. She's been fantastic. Those 2 for 14
she just had
a
tough game.
If those two, if they make more threes, or if Courtney plays her normal game, then we're not talking about the officials.
Right. And when I say they need better officials, it's not just for the Lynx. It's for the whole league.
Everybody.
Right. Yeah. The game has grown so much that they deserve better.
Yes, no doubt about it. All right, let's get to a couple other topics. Let's talk about Collier. Let's talk about the Vikings, and let's talk about the Pohlads here quickly. We do want to thank longtime sponsor, longtime supporter of women's sports, Rudy Luther Toyota.
Ready for a women-forward car dealership? Rudy Luther Toyota empowers their many women on staff in sales, management, and service. Whether you are looking for a new Toyota or pre-owned vehicle, Rudy Luther Toyota has something for everyone. Every vehicle comes with a Luther Advantage. 10 cents off fuel and car wash discounts at holiday stations, Luther Advantage warranty, and 5-day return policy on pre-owned vehicles. Located just 5 minutes west of downtown Minneapolis, off 394 and General Mills Boulevard. And they're also hiring. Want to join the team but don't know where to start? Visit rudyluthertoyota.com today.
Reminder, coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services Studios, we want to thank another Minnesota company that does great things, Minnesota Masonic Charities.
When people think of the Freemasons, they often think of secret handshakes and unusual hats, and of course, the pancake breakfast. Minnesota Masonic Charities would prefer that you think about the work that they do right here in our community. Places like the Masonic Cancer Center at the University of Minnesota, or the Masonic Children's Hospital and the Masonic Home in Bloomington. They are just a few examples of the important work that the Freemasons support here in Minnesota. As part of the largest fraternal organization in the world, Masons have consistently answered the call when it comes to charitable needs. I am happy that Minnesota Masonic Charities has chosen Minnesota Bound and this podcast as a place to help spread the word. We look forward to learning so much more about their many programs here in the weeks to come.
Now Dawn gets to hear me get really excited about Natrium. I told you last week about the Goodnight Moon gummies that are for rest and restoration,
the baby book gummies
and sleep. Yes, and those things are fantastic. They have cannabis in them. I eat the strawberry mangoes. But there's actually another version of them. There are probably many versions of them. The Crescent Moon is more for just like hanging out, more of a vibe feel. But what I've really used, and I had a crazy schedule. I was in Vegas for a couple of days with my wife, came home, flew to New York for Game 5. This week I'm flying out to LA. Changing time zones really messes with, I already have trouble sleeping. Changing time zones really messes with my sleep. Another nighttime gummy I highly recommend that I bought at Natrium with my own money, by the way, Carpe Diem Night Gummies. No THC, just CBD, gluten-free, and just helps you get into your sleep quicker. And I think part of it is the actual ingredients. And by the way, one great thing about Natrium, very few ingredients, very simple stuff. There aren't 18 hidden chemicals. It's really pure stuff that they vouch for. But also it tastes good, and it just helps you think about sleep. Not only do the ingredients work, but it also puts you in a mood where, okay, I just took that. I'm going to be able to sleep now. It helps so much. So whether you want oils for your gut, whether you want balms for inflammation, whether you want gummies to feel good or to fight pain or to sleep, whether you want drinks for socializing, and they have an incredible variety of different kinds of drinks. Go to Natrium, go to a Wildflower, which is basically the same company. There are a bunch of them around. Big one is in St. Louis Park. Have them delivered. But I would go in because the stores are beautiful and the sales representatives are very knowledgeable. They can help you out. They helped me out a lot my last visit, pointed me to exactly what I want. My wife, what she wanted. Check it out. Natrium, Natreum.com. Reminder, we have such a great lineup. We have Dawn doing this show. We have Randy Shaver on high school football. That show's going crazy. We have Mike Grimm on the Gophers, John Krasinski on the Wolves, Michael Russo and Anthony LaPanta on the Wild, Kevin Gorg on hockey, Bar Down Beauties on hockey, Roy Smalley, Lavelle Neal, and myself on baseball, Jeff Diamond on football, John Krasinski and I do the Viking Update show, and John Millay on preps. And we have some plans for new shows coming up here soon. So check it all out, and thank you. Also listen to our last show with Dawn's interview with Carly Zucker. Carly was fantastic. Dawn's interviews this year have been fantastic. Go check out the archive. You'll find something you're interested in, whether it's Chris Hockey, Paul Allen, Mike Tirico, Carly Zucker. You'll find something interesting. All right, so let's talk quickly about Nafisa Collier. What an amazing year. And she comes in within 1 point of having the ultimate dream year: Olympic gold, WNBA championship, defensive player of the year, second in MVP voting. And I think she also, I wrote about this the other day, I think, Dawn, she also put herself now in the conversation for best player in the world.
Absolutely. I'm glad you said that, because I think someone had mentioned it when I was in the sports office and we're watching the game, and we're just saying like what level she's played, and her name, if it's not number one in the world, it is up there. And also I want to add the intangibles on there about Nafisa, that she is who she is on the court and off, and she never ever changes her expression. Like she might say, she might put her hands up if it's a foul or say something, but you never see her sulking, angry, cussing people out. Like she holds her emotions in check, just kind of classy on the court and off. But her play, we know that she's the defensive player of the year. But when they needed her to go through the paint and generate some offense in that last game, she was starting to do that, picking the team up. She's everything that a captain, a leader, and everyone should be. And it's so great just to see her finally getting her recognition. I know people knew who she was. She's been on the Olympic team, but finally getting her due as a superstar and one of the best, if not the best in the world. I agree.
So let's get to the Vikings. We're talking here on Tuesday afternoon. They have a Thursday night game. I'll be out in LA for that. Are you going out, Don?
No, Ahmad Hicks. This is his game out there.
Got it. Okay,
So
great.
yeah, it's gonna be fun for him.
And we do the same thing to start to me and you do, which is we trade games. I'm doing most of the Vikings games, but not all of them. Chip and Lavelle will do a few too. But I'm doing the LA one. I was out at Viking Land today, and I think what we learned on Sunday is that Blake Cashman is really important. Without him in there, they were able to. The Lions were able to run the ball pretty efficiently. They were able to run the ball up the middle pretty efficiently. And as good as this defense has been, that was the first time we saw them without Cashman, and it made a difference.
Yeah, and no knock on Ivan Pace Jr., who was doing the green dot.
Ivan's
on
good,
the mic, Yeah, it was good. But I saw a couple of times, and just from what my perspective was and whether or not it really was happening, it looked like they had the call, and then it looked like Harrison Smith was going up and either clarifying it or changing it, or you're sitting there looking going, what was just run there? I have a hard time believing that's what B-Flow called for. So there might have been some miscommunication at the end, but I think Ivan has a good learning curve with him. He did it last year. He found success last year, but the stakes are a little bit higher this year. And Blake Cashman, he's just been around maybe a little bit more, has seen more, maybe just kind of has a different way about him, but highly missed, not only in his skills, but also in his coordination there to get his guys where they need to be.
Yes. First 4 games of the season, Sam Darnold, 11 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Last 2 games, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Any level of concern for you?
My level of concern, and I don't want to single out one person on the offensive line, but I wouldn't be surprised if I see Dalton Reisner in there sometime soon. Mm-hmm. There just needs to be a little bit more consistency and coverage there. I still think Sam is good. Sometimes he needs a little bit more time. I know that, who was it that was wide open? Was it Aaron Jones that was wide open on the interception? Mm-hmm. He was that. We asked him this week at practice, and he said, yes, Aaron was the check down. So was that a mistake on his part or what the situation was? But, it was kind of high stakes there at the end. It's those high pressure moments that this team hasn't had to do much so far this year, trying to play catch up, coming down to the last minute and trying to pull off like not only a 2-minute drill, but gosh, getting those few seconds and not ending up with your quarterback on the ground, to try to get into field goal range and have your, let's try a 73-yard field goal or something. But, it's the devil is in the details, and they really have to button that up. So I still see that he's going to have a great year. There were just some weird mistakes that happened this past game.
Yeah, and
that's
I would
the only
say
way
overall,
I can say it.
Yeah, I would say overall he played really. I mean, he completed 81.5% of his passes.
Yeah.
He ran for 39 yards. I actually thought he played
touchdown, the Jets. Woo!
Yeah, that was a great throw. Yeah. So he played fairly well. And if anybody was waiting for him to collapse, that was not a collapse on Sunday. He just, he missed a couple of plays.
Right. And who knows what the coverage was in front of him or what the call was supposed to be. So hopefully they can clean all that up.
Yep. I don't think you and I have talked about this topic. Let's bring this up as our last topic for today. Again, if you like the show, please subscribe to your favorite podcast app. It's free. It's the easiest way to listen. Same thing for all the shows that are network. If you find something you like, whether it's sports or outdoor or variety, subscribe. It's just the easiest way to listen. It helps us out. We do appreciate it. The Pohlads sell, and as I've said on other shows and I've written it, I'm glad just because I got tired of the conversation. I got tired of everything that went wrong with the Twins being blamed on the Pohlads and the salary cap or their amount of salary spending. And it became one-stop shopping. A guy missed a bunt. Oh man, if they just signed another free agent, they lost this year because their young players choked in September. And those players, those young players would have been on the field no matter what the payroll level was. So I look forward to new ownership coming in just to change the dumb conversation.
Well, in addition to the young players, choking. They dealt a lot. Sometimes when you see a team that dealt with that amount of injuries to significant players over a long period of time, I'm always thinking, how long can they sustain this?
Yep.
How long can you do that? So, you get lucky, but that luck's going to run out because you're not having the guys that you're paying the money to. You're not having your superstars. You're not having the guys that are in the clutch that have been there, done that, or at least have attempted that before. So it's even more than that. But yes, you're sick of blaming it on, because let me tell you, a couple of other guys that weren't injured and maybe they're playing into October, they're looking like the shrewdest owners ever. Right? So we all know that's how sports goes. The biggest concern I'm hearing from people, Jim, and you probably are as well, is everyone now thinks that the team's going to be moved regardless. Now, I know that was there like at least 15 years left on their Target Field lease? I think there is, right? Because it's like a 30-year lease and signed in 2010. People are thinking, well, if Nashville, makes a bid, will they try to get them there after 15 years? I mean, it's 15 years down the line. I think let's just take it one breath at a time and see what
hate
goes.
That. I hate them. It's such a Minnesota reaction. Oh, we're always going to lose. If the coach is good, he's always going to leave. Guess what? Nobody leaves. Oh, the team's going to move. Well, the only team that's moved was a team that moved because the owner was getting blasted for sexual harassment. Okay, he didn't move the team because it was a good idea or a good financial move. He moved the team because he was getting embarrassed on a daily basis. Minnesota teams don't move. Minnesota coaches don't leave for other places unless they get fired. It doesn't happen. Baseball doesn't want to lose this market. When the Twins are good, they draw. They have a great ballpark. They have a long-term lease. It's one of those things. It's theoretically possible the Twins could move in the same way it's theoretically possible that a Martian is about to destroy my apartment building. Sure, it's a possibility. Am I going to spend any time worrying about it? No, because it's not going to happen.
I did see some weird lights over there the other night.
Okay, I take it back.
Yeah. Some people were telling me,
no,
it's the casino lights.
I'm moving to Nashville because of the Martians. I would say there's more of a chance of Martians blowing up my apartment building than the Twins moving to Nashville. But we'll see. 20 years from now, we can revisit this. One more note to end this on. Alexa Philippou does a great job covering the WNBA for ESPN. She's been on this network before. Just tweeted, just announced Game 5 of the WNBA Finals was the most viewed finals game in 25 years with 2.2 million viewers and peaked at 3.3 million viewers. That's a 142% increase from the championship clinching Game 4 last year.
Amen to that, right? And for all the people like, I don't want to see all this whining and whatever. But you know what? That happens in pro sports. The game for the WNBA has arrived even on that level. If you're that good and the stakes are that high and you care that much, you also get the drama. So
that's exactly right. Not only do you get the drama, you listen from a pure cynical league growth perspective, you want the drama. That's what the NFL and the NBA discovered that made them, multi-billion-dollar properties, is you don't just want people talking about the game. You want people talking every day of the year about your league. And while you don't want that conversation to be as negative as this one is right now, you have people in New York celebrating championship. You have people in Minnesota raging against the officiating, and you have every other women's basketball fan in America taking sides and arguing about it or ranting. I mean, that's what you want. That's how you grow. You grow when you draw the casual fan in and get them emotionally involved one way or the other.
Well, yeah, and trust me, in our vernacular, anyone that's a sports fan, there's some rants that people just call upon anyway, right? Like playoffs. Remember that, right? Or it's practice. We're talking about practice. Like you'll hear random things just dropped in everyday conversation, especially in the world that we live in, Jim. So you know what? I don't think that Cheryl Reeve's rant is going to be any less. It comes with the territory.
Yeah. And it was something. It was something to sit there and listen. Because I'm sitting.
Jerry Burns, right? Jerry Burns. He's got some of the best. So
he does. I'm sitting, about 10 feet from Cheryl. I'm sitting about 5 feet from all the WNBA officials and PR people, and I'm watching their faces as Cheryl's ranting, and I should have pulled out my camera and taken a picture of them. Why didn't I do that? Next time, be sure I'll have another rant.
Describe what were they? Were they in shock? Were they afraid to stop her? I mean,
what's
that's what I wanted to know.
Well, no, listen. First of all, you can't stop Cheryl. So if they had tried to stop Cheryl,
she would have taken her jacket off again.
She would have yelled at them, and then they would have been the story. So they sat there and tried not to move. They didn't want her. They didn't want to catch her peripheral vision. They just sat really It's kind of like mice in the presence of an owl. They don't want to be noticed.
Now I'm going to think of that. Mice in the presence of an owl.
Cheryl, I hope you don't mind me calling you an owl. I don't mean it in any negative way. I'm just talking about a predatory bird. That's all.
Oh, no. I just think it's funny. No, because I'm like, I never thought about that. A mouse does not want to be found. That is for sure. Whew. I was wondering what it was like to be a fly on that wall. So thank you for bringing me in there. Because I was like, I could only see the feed coming in, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, it was something because you had the officials cringing and sitting very still, and then you had the journalists all standing there going, "Oh, I guess the story just changed." It's like even Alexa. I saw Alexa in the press room afterward, and she's like, I got to call the editor and tell him we're changing everything because Cheryl just blew up all of our stories.
Wow. But you know what? You want a coach that is that passionate for your team. Bottom line, right? You don't want a coach to be like, well, it was good. We got there. And maybe this will bring about some good change. And maybe she'll have to fork over some good change.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's pretty simple. They can take
money.
All the money they collect from Cheryl in this fine to pay better officials.
There you go.
We just solved it.
We just solved the whole issue. I am not laughing. It is something they really do have to clean up.
Yes.
Bad look to delete their tweet with no saying. So they've got a lot of work to do.
And they might need a new commissioner. I don't know if she's the right commissioner. We'll see.
Yeah. I absolutely agree. And then,
all right, Don, wrap up this show. I'll give you a final thought on any topic you like. Once again, thanks to everyone who listens to TalkNorth.com. Thanks to everyone who listens to Dawn of Sports. And we'll be back next week with another of Dawn's great guests. Final thought, Don.
My final thought is, what an amazing October. All right, because this is what we live for. You want your team to be in a Game 5. You want your undefeated team to be in a dogfight with the Lions, regardless of how that ends. I know Vikings fans are like, what? But I'm just saying, this is what you live for. These games mean something. These players are fighting their tails off. We've got the Timberwolves coming in. The Wild are just starting up. I hope the Twins stay here or they sell to a really great new owner, because this organization has always been, even before I even got to this town, I knew them as top notch. The people who run that thing, they're awesome. So you just hope that wheels can keep turning. And I'm like, I even posted this on my socials. I'm like, October's not even over yet. We're just getting started. So I love it.
It's been an incredible month. I'm looking forward to the Vikings being interesting the rest of the way. I'm looking forward to the Timberwolves being very interesting the rest of the way. And I'm also enjoying the fact that Cheryl Reeve is always interesting.
She is. And, she's always honest. She, what did someone say on one of the tweets? Like she's home. She's a Jersey girl and she's home. She's going to speak her mind. And she did.
Good stuff, Dawn. Thank you. Talk to you next week.
Same here. All right. Thank you.